All right. Do you like cookies and you want to know how to make them? Well, I got the recipe just for you. In this recipe, we're going to use Crisco instead of butter. So first, you measure out 2 cups of flour, and then you measure out 1 tablespoon of salt and 1 tablespoon of baking powder soda, and you just put it in. And you can like mix it a little bit, you know. If you have like a fork, you can, you know, mix it with the fork. It doesn't really matter. All right. So now that that's done, we can put this off to the side, and we're gonna put the Crisco. This is the Crisco. And we're also gonna put 3/4 cup of white sugar, and then 3/4 cup of brown sugar. And a good tip for you is if you use brown sugar, you need to compact it together. And now you're gonna get a mixer. You can use a stand mixer. You can use really whatever you want. You could even just, you know, mix it by hand, but it's easier with like some sort of mixer. So this is what we're gonna do. So now you just gotta mix it till it's all combined together until it's not like. This is what it'll look like when you first do it. You gotta mix it so it doesn't look like that. So it's all creamed together. I'll show you what it should look like. And you know, mostly whenever you make cookies, you think they use butter. But no, you can use other things instead of butter, like vegetable shortening, and that's what this is. And if you use vegetable shortening, it'll be more puffy, rather than whenever you use butter, it's just flat. And so that's a good way to make it be more puffy. It's less crunchy whenever you use butter, but you know, that's fine. And personally, I think that vegetable shortening is better than butter. That's just my opinion, but you know, to each their own. And so I'm still mixing it, trying to get it all combined and creamed together. All right. This is what it should sort of look like. You know, very creamed together. Then next, you're gonna add 2 eggs. These are already cracked because it's easier if you already have your ingredients prepped and cracked and stuff like that. And then you're gonna get yourself vanilla extract. And you can, normally I put like 1 teaspoon, but you can put however much you want. I just, you know, pour it out. You can put 2 teaspoons, you can put a tablespoon. It's whatever you want. That's the fun part about baking is you can do whatever you want. There's no really, like, yeah, you can just do whatever you want. All right, and so now I'm mixing that together, and it should look a little bit like that. All right, but we can still mix it some more. You know, make sure you scrape the sides, you know, so it's all incorporated in there. You can get, you know, a rubber spatula and just scrape the sides. And you just scrape it, all right. Make sure it's all gonna get all mixed in and stuff like that. All right. And then you mix it some more. You know, make sure it's all incorporated. You don't want it to be not incorporated and then it looks nasty. All right. And so now, after all that, this is what it should look like. Take that off. All right, it should look sort of like what it did, you know, when I just showed it to you, but more incorporated, you know, the sides all scraped off. And now what we're gonna do is we are gonna add your flour, baking soda, and salt mixture. You just pour it in, and this will, you know, give it structure, it'll stick together. And then you add baking oats, you know, like what you use for oatmeal. That's what baking oats are. Right? And you just mix it until it gets all incorporated. It's still, it'll go from this to, and you just mix it. Normally I use like a stand mixer. And so I'm not really used to using just a normal mixer. And you just gotta keep on mixing it. Make sure it's all incorporated. It's much easier if you use a stand mixer instead of like a mixer, as you can tell. All right, I think that's good. All right, see, it sort of like sticks to that. That's okay. You just, you know, shake it, or you can, since I don't need these anymore, I can take them out. And you're gonna take your rubber spatula and you're just gonna try to get it off like that. And so, like that, it's sort of clean. And now what you're gonna do is take your chocolate chips. This is about half a bag of chocolate chips. And you're just gonna stir it in. Let me just stir this in. And then what you're gonna do once you're done with this, you're gonna bake it for 375 degrees for 9 to 11 minutes. I normally do 10 minutes, just until they're golden brown on top. And this is what it should look like whenever it's done. Sort of like this, all incorporated. And then this is what they look like when they're done.